Well, we've got some fucking breaking news today. Welcome back in, everyone, to the Face of Truth Reactions. This is the Pure Politics and Bullshit Show live. We try to hold this every week on Friday and then random times, especially during breaking news. And I think today, or I guess yesterday, was, by all definitions, a breaking news day that we just couldn't ignore because it is the epitome of what I think most of us would say is absolute bullshit. I would have to think that most of us agree with that at least. And if you don't, that's fine. We'd love to have the argument. But for right now, DJ, roll that intro. God, that gets me going every time I fucking hear it. That gets me fucking going. Well, we have some breaking news, as most of the people will see the title is. Besides obviously being trying to screw Donald Trump over once again with another just horrendous indictment about absolutely nothing. Up to 300, I think it's 393 years in prison under the Espionage Act for mishandling classified documents. I mean, it's just like the most ridiculous fucking thing that you've seen, maybe ever.
Yeah, I'm wondering, if he'd have destroyed those documents, would he have gotten indicted? Because Hillary destroyed hers, and she didn't obstruct justice.
I think the main point is they're not after him; they're after us.
Oh yeah,
they're after me and you.
It's just a huge power play by the Dems.
It is.
Not the Dems. There is no Democratic Party. Would y'all people quit that? There is no longer a Democratic Party.
This is literally just the deep state and everyone that just fucking hates the people's voices. I think at this point, to be honest.
Okay, would the Liberal Party be more sufficient?
I mean, it's a change, but I think you should just call it what it is: the Marxist Party, which is a preamble to communism.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is a pretty good statement, because that's actually what Trump said in his post speech. I don't have that clip ready to roll right now, but earlier that's what he actually said. He said this is really a power move by the Marxists. Like, literally, that's just all this is. Literally, it's complete sabotage and just trying to take over the day. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of what it seems like. I mean,
well, here's the thing about it, that the first thing they got to do before they can even move forward with all this is they have to make sure that that they did everything the legal way. So in other words, the first thing that they got to rule on is whether or not the unsealing the transcripts between him and his attorney, right? They have to prove that there was a reason for them to unseal that, to get rid of what am I trying to think of? What's it called? Attorney-client privilege. So they waived that attorney-client privilege. The judge did. So that's the first thing they're going to have to rule on. That's going to take a long time. I mean, there's every little thing in that. It's going. There's no way this is ever going to go to trial this year. I don't think. I mean, it's going to go to trial, but that one thing is going to take a very long time. There's no way it's going to be done by.
Before you even talk about that, you really need to push the main topic that's into it. The total one-sided justice instead of, if anybody had a right to have any records was Donald J. Trump. Okay.
Right.
Biden shouldn't have ever had them. Pence shouldn't have ever had them. It's cool for Obama to have them. It was cool for Clinton to have them. It was not cool for Hillary to have them. Okay, so put that in. That's the subject that needs to be stressed. Is why the double standards. Well, they're being brazen. They're just breaking it out right in front of your face. We're going after the only guy we can't beat him. So we got to lock him up. We got to make him fall out.
There's a lot of great points about that, because that's one of the clips that we had that I have set up here. Because just think about this. The man just went through this, heard this type of charges, and then went out and did a fucking speech. Talk about this. And a lot of people didn't want to talk about it. A lot of people were just sitting there mocking this speech, like, blah, blah, blah. He's just running his mouth, literally calling everyone, like, who said USA a cult. And I'm like, you're the cult because you just really just fucking hate the country, apparently, or something. But I and this is literally, I'm just going to do like 2 minutes of this. So once again, to remind YouTube, this is from free media share of information. Anything played here is for reaction purposes only, so you cannot copyright and or sue us. So back the fuck off, YouTube. Mr. Jugger, please back me up on it. Thank you.
I think you're going out on a limb on something I'm not familiar with, just thrown in on the spot, but I'm going to agree with you for this fact only. Nothing should be taken seriously on this show because we're a bunch of drinking guys, and we're just sitting here having a conversation and voicing our opinions in America. We're not telling you, hey, you need to believe what I believe in. Okay, you don't have to worship my God. You don't have to vote for the president that I want to vote for. Get on with it.
I'm still not sure if Mr. Duggar is actually a YouTube lawyer or if he just is bullshitting. But anyways,
I'm voting for George McGovern.
Dude, I ain't gonna operate as a lawyer for you. I have no retainer. I've told you this several times.
Send me the paperwork, Mr. Duggar.
There is no paperwork.
Well, then I don't know what to say to that. But anyways, here we go. This is maybe like 45 seconds of the Trump speech. I mean, he went into a lot of stuff, of course, as usual. He can talk all day long. I mean, the man knows what he's doing. He's a public speaker. But this was the part that kind of found interesting, was where he brings up Bill Clinton especially, and one of the judges, and a precedent apparently set, back in the late 90s.
The sock drawer.
Very big stuff. Not only was Bill Clinton never even considered for criminal prosecution based on the tapes he took, but when he was sued for them, he won the case. Judge Amy Berman Jackson's decision states, under the statutory scheme established by the Presidential Records Act, the decision to segregate personal materials from presidential records is made by the president during the president's term and in the president's sole discretion.
So right there alone, if you're the president, you can make the sole decision of what to do and what not to do with documents. And he's saying, another judge even said, yeah, we can't sue someone or, charge them with anything because of this thing. So there's already a precedent apparently on the books saying you can't fuck with a former or sitting at that point, whatever president, because of precedent. So I don't know where this is coming from, but fuck me, espionage of act. And he also mentioned there how the Espionage Act, the Presidential File Record Espionage Act they're trying to charge him with is from 1917. 1917. What the fuck? Our laws are so outdated.
Well, I don't know where they're going with this espionage stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that would have to even be proven for espionage that's not going to be able to be proven.
Well, that's the point. I mean, they're stretching to the fullest. It's like the other indictment. Hey, let's take misdemeanors and let's ramp them up to felonies for no fucking reason. Basically, that's all they're doing. They're literally just doing no reason.
Listen, if Donald Trump made a left turn and didn't give a left-hand signal, they would want to impeach him from the presidency ever happening and everything else.
Well, if he made a left turn without using a signal, they charge him like a DUI and attempted vehicular manslaughter.
As
Yeah.
they should. How they
It would up the charges
all the time.
Yeah.
Traveling.
Yo, Traveling Fools, Defoe, LW. The three of you have been quiet, but this is a big topic. I know there's a lot of talking points here.
Well, I just don't understand the, they let these presidents and all these politicians take these files with them when they leave and shit like that. It just seems like it's all done sloppily on purpose. So when there's probably some technicality. If they want to take one out, they can just use it, because it doesn't. I mean, well, I don't even understand why they let them. I mean, Obama or Bush or whatever, they take these little file boxes to their homes and their garage, whatever. When are they just going to be like, you know what? I got to go look this up. I mean, all of it doesn't make any sense.
Well, if he's got the documents, all right, and they're saying that they were out there in the friggin' open for people to see, well, they'd have to prove that, and just showing that they're in a broom closet or whatever is not going to prove that. They got to prove that somebody actually seen those documents and went through them boxes, right? And what are they trying to? One thing they're trying to get Donald Trump on is saying that he tried to get his attorney and stuff to help him hide the files, because he kept telling his attorney, "Don't look at these files. I don't want anybody seeing them files. Can't nobody see these files." Well, that's what he's supposed to say, because they're top secret, so nobody's supposed to see them. He didn't want anybody looking at the files, but they're taking it, and in my opinion, they're twisting that around and saying that he's trying to tell his attorney to hide the files, and I don't think he was telling his attorney that at all.
Well, they're technically I guess they're not top. I don't know what the top secret was. I need to look at the official indictment about that. I know they were. Well, he can declassify whatever the fuck he wants. And he has the right to do it. So.
Anybody with half a brain cell knows exactly what's going on. It's all complete bullshit, and they're just going to keep on and on until it's already damaged the election to begin with, but they're just going to keep on and on and on and pressing the issue to where they're going to put off the court date until it's too late.
Yeah.
Well, that and the fact that nobody really knows what is in any of this stuff that they're even talking about. So, and they're never going to tell you, because supposedly they're files that we can't see. So the news and all the shrills, I guess is what you call them on Twitter, that are all expert lawyers now. They're done being doctors, Now they're expert lawyers. And all they keep going off of is, it contained nuclear information, confidential. It could have been as simple as a note in there from somebody saying the word nuclear.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's like they're like, he was selling art. Like, they've already jumped to this conclusion that he was selling the nuclear codes to North Korea and all this nonsense. It's like, Jesus Christ, you people are absolute fucking morons.
Yeah, well, this is a quick clip that Bug Gipper sent me earlier. I was trying to listen to it, but I didn't want to fuck up this whole broadcast. So we'll play this too, because I think this will be a little interesting. It's a pretty short clip, because we've got a bunch. I mean, there's so much stuff to cover here. This is absolutely gone ridiculous. I mean, there's no question about it. But let's take a quick look at this shit and see what they're talking about.
In a bathroom or in a ballroom. Would that concern you? It would absolutely concern me. But again, the FBI had access to those documents, they had access to the boxes, and they had access to all those rooms as well. Congresswoman, the FBI did not have access to those documents. There was a subpoena for those documents, And then the attorneys for Donald Trump said that they had given all of the documents over, and then that was not true, and they had to have a raid. I remember last summer. Thank you so much, Congresswoman. I apologize about the audio issues. Yeah, I'm sure.
All right. Oh shit, that was the wrong button. All right, yeah, that was actually pretty funny. It was like, oh, whoa, we're having some audio issues. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, shocking, shocking. They would shut it off.
They're outright lying and acting like it's some big deal. I mean, Bill Clinton lost the nuclear codes.
Yeah, I thought I was going to bring that up too. I was like, didn't Clinton like literally lose?
Well, where did I put them damn things?
Well, what's crazy is they're lying straight to everyone's face, but there's so many people, like millions of people, who actually believe this bullshit.
Exactly.
Oh, Bill over there going, damn, that was a good joint. You know, I lost some nuclear codes. I gotta get off that stuff.
Willie Nelson rolled them up and smoked them.
And he go, I'll never smoke weed with Willie again. Oh my God.
I mean, it's been bullshit forever. This article by the New York Times is under their paywall now, so you can't really see it unless you subscribe to their page. But 2015, they had an article, and it's when her emails and all that stuff came out. She was polling poorly because of that uranium one stuff. Because when she was Secretary of State, they approved it and all that stuff. Well, first, the Clinton Foundation, they accepted like $2 million from this Russian person, $25 million from this Russian person, $34 million from this. It racked up to like $135 million or something like that. And then, right, you know, and then Bill Clinton did a speaking event in Moscow and got paid $500,000 in cash. And then after all the donations to the Clinton Foundation, his speech where he got paid $500,000, then the uranium one deal went through. So it shows basically pay for play and corruption, right, with the Russians, and that's what she was polling badly about. So when everybody talks about, oh, who cares about her emails? Well, in her emails, they discussed, you know, DNC and all these people discussed, well, how do we flip this? How do we flip this to get this Russian shit off our back? Because we're not polling well with it. So they basically just said, well, let's just blame Trump being a Russian asset. That's how all of this started, was the campaign for 2016. And he won, and everything since has just been one big temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Well, there's people out there that still actually friggin' believe that he's a Russian spy and that he works for Russia. There's people out there that still believe this stuff because they did such a good job of implanting that and giving everybody friggin' Stockholm syndrome in America, you know, because it was like all you ever heard. And so, you know, and now it's all been disproven and everything. And, you know, and once again, Hillary Clinton gets away scot-free with starting shit up about stuff like that. So, you know, that's the thing about it. It's all bullshit. The whole damn thing's bullshit.
That is fact. There are people who still believe this. And the problem is there are a lot of stupid people. I don't mean to just say stupid in the sense of like calling someone stupid like a name and for no sense or common sense or whatever, but I mean like they hear one story and they will believe it forever, no matter the follow-ups, no matter the evidence, no matter the proof, the investigations, etc., etc. They won't give a shit. They are stuck on this narrative the entire time, and you know, you're damned no matter what to them.
We need to do a stupid poll. How many stupid people are there in America that can sit back and see what's going on and still be like that guy dressed in that prison uniform, lock him up? You know, the lock him up guy down at the courthouse. You know,
oh yeah, the one who got taken out by the Secret Service.
how do these people function in society if they're buying this crap? You know,
Yeah, I
when they talk about the espionage and the obstruction of justice, Hillary smashed phones, killed a server. I mean,
Whitewash. She whitewashed the server. Even she like bleached that motherfucker like
She should have been
purposely.
in get mode for that.
They probably helped her do it.
Oh, of course they did. Of course they did.
Well,
Listen,
listen.
it's like I pointed out the other week. The average IQ in the United States is 98. So, I mean, if that 98 is the average IQ in the United States,
It's dropping.
you think about that and you say, how many stupid people are there? Well, 98's not very good.
No.
No, not at all.
No.
Well, they've
It's
been
dropping.
dumbing down our
It's going
kids.
down.
They've been dumbing down our kids for years.
I think there should be some sort of, I know it'll never happen because of freedom of whatever. But there should be some sort of test or requirement to be able to vote.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a great one because they have been trying to look at competency tests. Jesus Christ, for people being elected to office, but the Vivek Ramaswamy has said he wants to literally. It will never get passed. But he wants to up the voter age from 18 to 25 because literally people are so stupid. or they have to do civil service or be able to be in the military or pass a civic study like any new immigrant would for citizenship. It'll never happen. But I'm like, I could get on board with that because there are some fucking stupid fucking people in this world. There are.
Well, that's where my libertarian comes out. Me personally, I mean, I get all that, and I agree with that, but I think if, you can start working when you're 15, 16 years old, but if the government can take your money that you earned, you should be able to vote on.
Absolutely.
So I'm the opposite. I'm kind of, if somebody's 16 years old and they earn money and the government gets to take it, that person has a say, on
How it
who to
should be
vote for.
spent. Yeah, who
Yeah.
represents them.
That's why I said I like the idea. It would never pass, and obviously there was like that. There would be a lot of legal challenges to that, and you would have to compromise. It'll never happen. But I like kind of the thought process because it's just saying like between 18 and 25 these days, most people. I'm not saying all. Obviously, there are some very, very intelligent people who are very level-headed, but there are a lot of just. It's hard to watch, type of people.
All you have to do is hang out in most YouTube chat sections for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Go to Traveling Fools. He's it's hard to watch.
No, I got all the smart people in mind. Man.
Okay. Taking shots. But you know what? The one thing, like you said, why is no one charging, for instance, like looking to Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Biden, Pence gets wiped, off the list, and I'm not even going to attack Pence. But the point is, he wasn't supposed to have documents. So they're just saying, oh, well, they subpoenaed you. You didn't give them the documents. That's why you obstructed justice, etc. All the extra bullshit charges. What I found interesting was, and this man's going through legal troubles as well, so to say, because he's getting sued, cease and desist, breach of contract. He's countersuing the network, as they breached his personal contract, so to say. And I thought something that he said for about a 45-second clip, I thought was something very interesting. Some of you probably saw this earlier today because it is like the man, the myth, the legend now almost in his own right. Let me pull it up here. There we go. Got it queued up. as he came back on with his third episode. After his third episode after the initial cease and desist. He came out with 2 more, but
Yeah,
this
that
was
was
like,
great.
Yeah, I watched.
It's
Was that-
good.
I watched.
It's great.
It.
Yeah.
Good play.
And I mean, the whole point is for any of the viewers, like anyone who watches this, if they didn't see it, because a lot of people are posting this on YouTube, which I wholly appreciate. Like, shout out to Benny Johnson here. Benny Johnson.
Absolutely.
This guy does some pretty good work too over there, and he basically just this whole video is just for the Tucker's third episode of his little new solo show, but this kind of segment specifically, this like 45 seconds, kind of talked about the death sentence of Donald Trump from the initial start of his original campaign, and I found it very fascinating.
Spent $6.5 trillion last year. That's more than any government has ever spent, ever. So at the very least, you would expect pristine public roads. Oh, no. That's not what you see when you drive around this country. There are potholes and Jersey barriers everywhere. Looks like Tegucigalpa before the Chinese decided to rebuild the infrastructure of Honduras. We don't have China buying our roads. So they're falling apart. You'd think the people you would pass on your road trip would look happy and prosperous. Again, this is a very rich country, but a lot of them don't. Quite a few appear to be strung out on drugs. You see them shuffling by shuttered storefronts in small towns. And you wonder, as you see all of this, where did all the money go? It's certainly not here. Well, it's in Washington. It's in Fairfax and Loudoun counties and in leafy, perfectly manicured Northwest DC. And of course, a huge chunk of it went to Ukraine, to Zelensky and his friends. Not because you voted for that. You didn't vote to give it to them. You never would. But because Joe Biden and his many allies, from Chuck Schumer to Mitch McConnell to Paul Ryan and every single news anchor on all of television, all of them believe that Ukraine, its borders, its future, its infrastructure are all more important than the town that you live in. They sincerely think that, and it's obvious. Everyone in power thinks that, except for Donald Trump. Whatever else you say about him, Trump is the one guy with an actual shot at becoming president who dissents from Washington's long-standing pointless war agenda. And for that one fact, they're trying to take Trump out before you can vote for him.
And he said before that there was a small snippet where he said the fact of one of the debates where he said the government and the Republicans and all of these people have lied to you, especially about like the Iraq war. That was his death sentence when he said openly, they have lied to you. Like openly, they knew it, they lied to you, and that was the death sentence. And then continuing like this, like, shocking. Did Trump get us in any new wars or spend extra money overseas? Someone said, yeah.
No, I'm saying I'm agreeing with you, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, someone said, yeah. I was like, whoa.
No, I was agreeing with you. I mean, it's a political witch hunt, right? What he says, and it's what it is. Anything they can get him on.
Well, where's everybody else's perjury charges from the past? Where was Colin Powell's perjury charge going in front of Congress talking about weapons of mass destruction that ended up, that war killed about 1 million people total?
Yeah.
Where was Brennan? Where's,
that son of a bitch?
Where's
evil fuck?
Where's all the motherfuckers that signed the 51 people or 52 people that signed the whole thing about Hunter laptop? That's no big deal. Where are those people for not knowing anything and signing a document going, yeah, no, that's not news. Don't worry about that.
Well, it's pretty funny that today was Trump's birthday as well.
Oh yeah. Oh,
and they actually did all that.
I got a clip to follow up with that, but we'll talk for a little bit.
Okay.
Well, here's what gets me too. Articles of impeachment were filed on Joe Biden today, but the news was that Donald Trump got arrested. Every news outlet was covering that, but nobody was talking about that.
Squirrel.
Articles of impeachment have been filed.
No. Every news network was like the arrest and arraignment of Donald Trump. That was literally the titles. If you go through the menus, right. Like that was all it was.
Well, Just trying to shift the narrative. Anytime you don't ever hear of any of their bad doings. Thank God they got Trump's nuts to lean on. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have any news without Trump.
Well, that's the thing. It is out in your face. That's what I was going to make the point about Brennan. He gets up and testifies and says, of course we don't spy on Americans' phones and email. You know, of course we don't. Then Edward Snowden comes out and shows the proof. And then he was like, well, of course we do. I mean, they do it right to your face. But nobody does anything. Like, nobody does shit.
And
People
then the
still
Twitter
vote.
files told all.
Well,
People
just
still vote
so
the
we're
same
not
way.
like spreading fake news. Like they didn't file articles of impeachment today. They introduced articles of impeachment.
Yeah.
Just to clarify that.
Introduced articles of impeachment, but it made nothing. I mean, it didn't even cross the lips of anybody on CBS or CNN or MSNBC. They didn't report it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the
Everything.
timing's spectacular.
Well, I know. It's the same way with every party, right? Every party is going to try to throw things out there to, deflect a little bit and stuff. And I realize this is just a deflection thing, but still, it just shows you that they could care less because they knew it would go nowhere. The media, they're not going to cover it, so it ain't going to go anywhere.
It's the timing and the optics, because there is other news that was happening today during this that got no coverage of like actual vital importance, not just like the quote unquote impeachment stuff, but the FBI document situation. They got no coverage because they're like, well, Trump's being indicted again. Hoorah! That's the point. It's a diversion. It's a distraction. It's a cover.
Squirrel.
For all the other shit.
Yeah, to alter what Joey says about all parties deflecting, or one party deflects and the other one lies.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah, this thing with Biden with accepting that money, and they say they have these tapes and stuff like that. I mean, that should worry people a little more than Trump having a few pieces of paper laying around.
Yeah, I mean,
They have classified billions of stuff. That's their way of hiding it. That we don't have the patriotism enough we can't take the info. Is there that much secret stuff?
Well, did he knock himself out?
It's all a joke. It's all so stupid, and people just buy into it. Like I went on Twitter earlier just to read the reactions, and see the people, and I could only take 5 minutes of it. But I mean, the way that, like I was saying before, the way like reading through Twitter and stuff earlier, I mean, it's basically like Donald Trump's going to jail for 400 years because he sold North Koreans our nuclear codes. It's like what people on there are saying. It's just like, where are you even getting this? Like, you people have lost your damn minds. He's not going to jail.
If we go back to that clip that Ben played that I had sent him, and right there tells you, so if you've got a network on your side, such as that one, CBS, right? They're on the side of the Democrats. Well, so they brought on a Republican that I guess they thought was going to talk bad about Trump, and she come on and started defending and saying, hey, a lot of this stuff's not true, and when she started winning the argument because they got scared that they were, she was going to convert somebody in their audience, and to show them their lies, they decided, oh, we're having audio trouble, and shut her off. And it's just like she said, yeah, sure you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this is going into part of the thingy here. I apologize there to pissed off Patriot, Mr. Duggar there. I had to step away for a quick second. This is not shocking. That's why I said that was such a funny clip, because this is also what happened earlier too. Is it was so funny as we were talking about the birthday. You know, it's Donald Trump's birthday, which during that speech he gave, he was like, "This is the greatest birthday ever."
Right.
I'm getting sentenced to like 400 years almost in prison, threatened with it basically. It was like the greatest birthday ever. Oh, CNN couldn't hack it. CNN just melted down about it. And again, shout out to
Fake news.
shout out to Benny Johnson, because again, no one wanted to show this shit. Benny, not afraid. Love
I
it.
love Benny Johnson. I watch him every day.
20s
I just
for
love how
mishandling the most sensitive government documents that we have,
Everyone's
and for
thanking
obstruction of
him.
justice, along with Walt Nauta, who was charged with intentionally setting up lies, the grand jury, to the FBI. Any way you look at this, and again, despite whatever may be going on in that restaurant, this case isn't going to be settled legally in a cafe. It's going to be settled in the court based on the facts and law.
The folks in the control room, I don't need to see any more of that. He's trying to turn this in. He's trying to turn it into a spectacle, into a campaign ad. That's enough of that. We've seen it already. Let's go over again the 37 charges that Donald Trump is facing right now.
It's so fucking stupid. Like, dude,
We're not reporting news. We're not reporting news. Just turn that shit off. We're not reporting news.
Right.
Let's get back to our list of lies. Let's make it a talking point.
fucking CNN, man.
Would-
Sometimes
give
they
that-
crack me the fuck up, though. They crack me the fuck up about that shit.
Wouldn't
It's
you
like,
just like to give that guy a gun and a Gantine and put him out there on the Ukraine front and go, "Get you some, boy"?
Yeah.
Well, here's my
Both of
thing
them.
I always found hilarious. Back when Trump was president, MSNBC used to have people on that used to say, insinuate, and some people straight up said it, that Trump was a Russian spy since 1988. But at the same time, they all call him a fucking idiot moron, right? So
Yeah.
which is it? Is he some great, wonderful, smart spy who planned for 28 years with the Russians to become president in 2016? Or is he a window licker? Pick one.
Yeah.
The only beef I've ever had with Trump is about the USFL.
Oh no, boys! It's a bizarro world. We're being run by clowns, and the clowns are smart. They're trying to usurp our republic, our constitution. They're not. They're trying to play for keeps. Everybody bringing their marbles. Think we're gonna have a friendly game of marbles. Them fuckers are playing for keeps, and they want your Cleary and your good cat eye. Got not my cat eye. And everybody's got to be on their toes with them. And I mean, it's just so blatant. It's just so blatant what they're doing is what I think every American should already have a belly full of it. And I tell you, people like LW are fools. What do you boys think? What path would you offer for Americans to share with families that disagree about? It's not about Trump, okay? It's a lot bigger than just President Trump. What do you tell people that look at you with that crazy Karen stare?
Well, the thing about it is, and what this is going to lead to as well, because even if they find him guilty or something, it's going to be appealed and appealed and appealed, and it's going to eventually end up on the Supreme Court's desk at some point. So start watching now, because they're going to start packing the Supreme Court like crazy.
No, I don't think that'll happen. Yeah, I think the pack in the courts, they're not going to do that, because that's just the dumbest idea. They pack it, then the Republicans pack it, and they pay, you end up with 400 people on the Supreme Court.
All right.
I don't see that happening. Basically, I don't see him getting charged with anything. When this is all said and over with, he's not going to get charged with anything. What this is it's just a thing to keep it going through the election, so that he is the, president that is basically going to trial and campaigning at night. and
Well-
they're just trying to make it impossible for him to run and
Wait.
tarnish his image.
Which is funny because there were so many people who were saying it doesn't matter if he's fucking in prison. Someone brought that up earlier. I think it was Ben Shapiro brought that up earlier. He said, could this be literally the first time a candidate for president is sitting in prison and gets elected and has to pardon himself? How would that work? And I was like, that's a legally fascinating question.
That'll never happen. He's not going to be. He's not going to be.
No, he's
convicted.
he's not. But you have to bring up that kind of situation and thought. And I was like, that would be extremely fascinating because I don't know how that would work.
Well, it's like this though. You watch, even if they do go through with this, and I don't know, they convict him of something. I don't care if he stole a toothpick off of a waitress out of a waitress apron one day or something. I mean, they'll convict him of something. They'll find something to charge him with, and then that way he won't be able to run anymore. I mean, that's just how I think they're going to try to do it.
He can still run.
Not if he's charged with felony.
I think you still can.
Well, I think because I think most of us are in agreement that we're really not like hardcore Republicans. Like, I know I'm not. Like, I would never vote for Lindsey Graham for president or Mitt Romney.
Both parties are dead.
Well,
They're neither one of them are really a Republican party or a Democrat party. There's the Marxists and the non-Marxists. You know what I mean? And the Republican and the Democrats have joined to be Marxist. Mitch McConnell is a Marxist. He's getting paid. He's happy. He's getting his share. You know what I mean? So basically what it all boils down to is there is no equal justice in there. Are all the other people, Pence, Biden, it all goes back to why are they not charged before him?
According to Politico, there are no legal obstacles to running for president as a convicted felon or even from behind bars.
Oh, okay.
That's according to Politico. So,
Well, maybe they trying to Epstein his ass when they get him behind bars.
Now that would be like funny as hell to have him win in jail. That would be funny as shit.
I'd be scared to death.
Jesus Christ. Doing the fucking inauguration from the window and the phone in a jumpsuit.
People have said they've already voted. They would.
My first act as president is I pardon my own ass.
No, they're not. This is not for the people who are going to vote for Trump. What they're doing this for is the Republican voters who support Lindsey Graham and these people, and they're like, well, I won't vote for Trump. But that's who this is geared towards. So they'll either stay home or go vote for the other side because I just can't have you know what I mean?
And they say it's independents that win elections. So I mean, this is trying to steer the independents away.
Yeah, this is the rhinos and all the hardcores kind of try to stick it to him, and because that's it. He scares them. I mean, he does. Trump kind of fucked up the last election. He said he trusted. Tucker talked about it. He trusted the wrong people in his cabinet. Now he knows, I think, who more to trust. But look at what he dealt with for all that time of Russia collusion, blah blah blah, and everyone fighting against him. Now he knows better now. So just think of what he can do, and they're terrified. They're absolutely terrified of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. They are scared to death of the man, and they know that if he gets in there again, they're all fucked. And they're scared to death that he'll get in there again, so they're going to try to do anything they can to keep him from getting in there. They're trying to. I mean, you notice all these, these phony new accounts that have came up out of nowhere. They're these big, like Ron DeSantis, fan pages and all this stuff, and everything is. These people are constantly on there. They want Ron DeSantis to win the primary. They want Ron DeSantis to be or anybody but Trump, but DeSantis is the only one that has a chance, so that's why they're all backing him.
which is kind of sad because something that I found extremely fascinating, which I mean, again, in a sense of that is not shocking, was this other one. And TF, you and me were watching this earlier, and I found it amazing that someone who has absolutely no shot, he is working for, like, I think specifically a cabinet position. Specifically a cabinet position. Would literally send to every other Republican and Democratic candidate a memo and, basically say, explain yourself to why you wouldn't do this or why you would do this. And he's been the most
basically been like what it was he sent a memo to everybody saying that they should all pledge before even going further with what they're doing. They should all be pledging to pardon Donald Trump, and if you're not going to say why you're not going to,
or why not. And it's like, but that's amazing because none of them will, and that's the funny part. But that's why if I had to, he has no shot. But if literally Trump wasn't running, he literally might get my vote. He's been the most outspoken. I mean, he literally almost single-handedly ended Don Lemon's career. He blasted another CNN, anchor on.
What they say, the guy's got like 6,500 Twitter followers or something.
It's absolutely amazing. But yeah, we were watching this earlier, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And if no one has actually heard this little speech, it's like 35 seconds. It's fantastic. So I think it's worth watching for Vivek Ramaswamy because the man is intelligent. He's definitely running for a cabinet position, if not even VP. I mean, he's running for something. You know that. He's not going to win it, but, it's interesting.
That brings me to my second announcement that I'm going to make today. This is an announcement of a letter that my campaign has sent to every other campaign in this race, to Mike Pence, to Nikki Haley, to Larry Elder, to RFK Jr., to Marianne Williamson, to Doug Burgum, to Perry Johnson, to Chris Christie,
Perry Johnson,
to Ron DeSantis, the governor of the state where we are today, who by any measure is not here today in his own state. I will tell you that we have sent this letter, and I'm happy to announce this is my commitment on January 20th, 2025, if I'm elected the next U.S. president, to pardon Donald J. Trump for these offenses in this federal case. And I have challenged, I have demanded that every other candidate in this race either sign this commitment to pardon on January 20th, 2025, or else to explain why they are not. And
it's just fascinating that, like how you pointed out, like Ron DeSantis, who's not here, but I just love it. I love it. Shots fired, I love it.
Damn, who's got the big dog being attacked?
Apparently so. God damn.
I think it's the
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. TF's getting attacked by a dog.
And shout out there to Tim Young and Tim Runs His Mouth. Great segment they had yesterday about that, especially bringing up that Vivek stream there. So shout out to them. But yeah, it's fascinating. He's definitely the most outspoken. Like, he's vocally, like, he's not shying away from shit. Unlike most of the others who just give vague, like, yeah, or if they say anything at all,
It all down, bro. How is he brought up on charges, and yet Biden hasn't been brought up on charges, or Pence? And we know they shouldn't have had him. There's no discrepancy of a presidential thing over their head. They had the material. They're caught red-handed with it. Why aren't they being charged with espionage?
Right, and like you can go all the way back to Clinton. What was it? He had 9 Georgia tapes. TF's now it's going crazy. He had what 9 Georgia tapes or something that were secret and classified and stuff. That were tapes that Clinton had, and then of course Hillary having all that stuff. I mean, I'm hoping that this case here digs a lot of stuff out from the past and brings a lot of stuff to make some of these people in America realize what the hell's going on, to wake up the rest of them.
I think we're true. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say they do it to their own side. 2020 Tulsi Gabbard, she was the most in all 50 states after the first debate. She was the most Googled candidate in all 50 states. And what happened? Like all these people, all on their side, they called her a Russian asset. She's a Russian spy, just like they did Trump. Then they changed the rules of the debate to get her off the third one. Yeah. She had more votes than Kamala Harris. She was polling higher than Kamala Harris. But Kamala Harris got to I mean, it's not even like at this point, they just do it right in front of your face and they just tell you to go fuck yourself if you don't like it.
Well, and notice Gabbard has changed to at least at most independent, but she's now working with the Fox News, so she's almost a Republican at this point. She literally changed parties. She's like, all right, fuck all you too then. You know, like literally, like she started seeing it because she was in Hawaii, and it's like that's a very democratic state, and she was like, all right, I see the game here.
You know, this whole thing, the whole thing is completely stupid. Every other country in the world is sitting back laughing at the stupidity of the United States government right now. And it's sickening. We should worry about America only. And somebody has to come along. If it's not Donald Trump, it has to be somebody else to try, like I said, try to put an end.
It's now or never. I'm telling you, it's now or never. I think we are under. Go ahead.
Oh, no, be fine. I'm sorry.
I think if you really look at it, and it's like Kash Patel says, and quite a few of the other people in the know, that we're actually under devolution. He is a wartime president. He was attacked. We were attacked with the pandemic. We also, they interfered with our election of a foreign country, and that was in that bill he signed. I'm telling you, right now the military is in control. Why do you think we don't have serious boots on the ground in Ukraine? Because I just think the military is in charge. Myself personally, I think sooner or later we will be going to Nuremberg style trials over not just people in the United States, but people in other countries also. I think Donald Trump has also got the ear of a bunch of other leaders. This is my assessment on what I do travel around on the internet listening, and I don't take them as, I can tell a fake conspiracy kind of channel, that kind of stuff. That's all they're doing is in conspiracies. But just straight out information, if you go find out, there's a few sites out there that gives you a little more in depth of what may be happening. And the consensus is that we are under a devolution right now, and Trump is still a president of the United States as a wartime president from our invasion from within. Anybody had any thoughts or heard anything about devolution?
No.
Well, I'll say this. You can go back to Eisenhower's speech as he left office. He could have said anything to the left office. The one thing he stressed was you have to beware of the military-industrial complex. That was his speech to America as he left office. Watch out for this shit. And then later on, you have Kennedy. He wanted to get rid of the CIA. He wanted to do all this shit. You know, he didn't want to do Operation Northwoods. He said, "Are you crazy?" And then he went. Then they told him to go to Dallas for a parade. I mean, this shit has been happening for a long fucking time.
Oh yeah,
and a bunch of whole presidents.
That wasn't the military. That wasn't the military. That was CIA. That was Alphabet. That was FBI and CIA both.
Well, other countries, you know, that we were saying about other countries lapping at us. Other countries have been lapping at us for a very, very long time. Some of this, I mean, hell, you think back some of the people that they've been lapping at us since James Comey was appointed as the director of the FBI. I mean, because he was horrible. So,
yeah, as a Defoe said, I mean, and that's it. Right now, we have so many dumb shit going on where people are promoting this nonsense to other countries and no one gives a shit about. But like Defoe says, when like El Salvador, and all respect to El Salvador, that and Venezuela is like, well, don't talk to us about democracy because of the first Trump indictment, in New York. You have a fucking problem if they're telling you can shut the fuck up about democracy when you're charging a former president over nothing. I mean, if they're telling you shut the fuck, just you're screwed. But yeah, it's I don't know. We're in a shit state right now.
Yeah, we are. We really are.
Do y'all remember that comedian Bill Hicks?
Yeah.
He had a great joke about how he thinks the first day of the new president goes. That like 7 people pull you into a room. They pull down this projector screen and they show you a never before seen view of the Zapruder film. And they look at the new president and say, "Any questions?" And he's like, "Nope, just what my agenda is."
Yeah. Ooh, Dick, I got a son today, boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they're trying to get us to think that we can't be without the government, right? Like they got to depend on the government, and that's the whole thing. They want us to be dependent on them.
Yeah.
And that's one of their platforms is to do that. And then, well, as a matter of fact, the guy and the night there, the Gipper, said one time the most terrifying words in the English language are "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." So,
right.
They want obedience. Anybody see that interview with Andrew Tate? Talking about you becoming a slave.
Which I was like, which bullshit one?
Well, see what if you don't know who Andrew Tate really is and how deep that dude is, you had no right to speak on him because he's a masculine man. Okay, he's a true person.
No, I apologize. I thought I heard a different name. I thought I heard McCabe. So I was like, hold on. That's why I said bullshit.
He's really outspoken, and it just cost him 90 days in a dungeon in Romania. He just got out of the fucking dungeon. That wasn't no jail. He was in a dungeon. Okay, so I
heard the wrong name, so I do apologize, Mr. Duggar, and to Andrew Tate. I heard the wrong name. I thought I heard McCabe.
Anyway, that's their narrative. Is they keep feeding you narrative, and makes you think, well, maybe it is like this. You know what I mean? And you heard me say squirrel a couple of times. Look, a squirrel. when you're really hunting deer and there's a deer standing to the right of you. You know, they're going to say squirrel because they don't want you to shoot the deer, you know, which figures them out. And that's the biggest con that's being played on the Americans. And they're right in their face. And it's right in your face. And a lot of people, if they'd only open their eyes, you know, they're matching the dots. They're matching the numbers for a takeover of our fucking country. You know what I mean? And getting us into a war. You know, they keep pushing NATO shit over there in Ukraine, wanting to authorize, and Joe's giving it. Oh, go ahead and give them Poland. Go ahead and give them Ukraine boys some F-16s. Let them go there and throw some bombs at Russia. What's Putin going to do then? You know what I mean? So I mean, it's just they're trying to escalate a war, keeping Trump ahead in the news. Now they're still got free reign to run amok in Ukraine. You don't hear anything about Ukraine. When they were in Iraq, it was Iraq this, Iraq that, you know, showing all kinds of footage. You hear nothing from that over there. That we've sent $170 billion to.
People are too simple-minded. So again, they hear one story and one narrative and they run with that. They can't go, okay, I need to look across multiple networks, news stories, information sources, independent journalists, et cetera, and hear like maybe more detailed facts that other people like omit or want to, like we had earlier, like, oh, it must be a hot mic. Oh, we gotta go, you know, and like cut people off. And then when they're talking, it's like people have to do this, but most people don't. They have such a short fucking attention span, and they just don't care. They hear a narrative and they run with it, and that's kind of
they got daily life going by. They got daily life hitting them in the face, paying that $5 a gallon of gas. Put four bags of grocery costing you $150, $200. You know what I mean? And it's just they're doing it so blatantly. I don't. When's enough? When's everybody? Do they do the $1 million march, million man march? Oh, you know what's Joe going to do? Remember Joe said, y'all going to come at me with rifles? Y'all need F-16s.
Right.
He's talking about the American people.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then what was that creepy time he gave that speech in a red light? And then he had the LBG flag hanging between two American flags at the White House. Nothing precedes the American flag. You know? I'm pissed off about that.
Right, you had running around the lawn of the White House, you had a damn titless woman, a man with tits with their shirts off running around the outside of the White House. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, it's like watching a fucking bad movie. Like, you just see it play out, you're just like, is this real? But as far as the Ukraine shit and the war, we're at war with Russia. When you give planes, equipment, intelligence, all these things to a country fighting another, you're at war. Our troops just haven't got into it yet. America's at war with Russia right now.
There's boots on the ground, you know, advisors and shit. I guarantee you.
No, there's legitimate. They said there are forces, U.S. forces on ground in Ukraine. There have been. They just didn't never say anything. They've lied about it. But regardless, it's still, no matter what, a proxy war. But there are little U.S. troops apparently on ground. That's been there for months.
I'm proud of you, Ben, for saying
bullshit, which is absolute bullshit. I mean,
yeah, they've been lying, saying that there wasn't, but there actually is.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
exactly.
Just like Vietnam, it started out just like it's starting out just like Vietnam did. You know, sneaking people advisors in there.
I'm not talking about advisors. I meant like our troops, like the 19-year-old guy named Scott.
Yeah, they're not sending them in. And the reason they're not, because he's not in charge of the military. That gets you back to devolution. You don't tell me if he had the ability to put the a regiment or two of Marines up there that he wouldn't? Of course he would. He would have already done that already. They're trying to escalate this.
So you think we got another Charlie Wilson war?
Absolutely. No, I don't think it's quite got that. You know, we're not fighting against Russia to fight Russian communism. We're fighting Russia to default the USA, to take down the USA. They're not after Russia per se. They're after the United States. And that if they can start a war, and they don't care about who dies. It's like Trump said. He just wants people to stop dying. The other guys, they don't care.
Yeah, it's funny how they take that statement too, which is the correct political statement. If you ever want to hear a politician talk, and they turn it as going, he's a Russian, promoter, and like he never said anything like that. But the narrative, again, it's about the narrative that they keep spewing.
Yeah, he doesn't want Ukrainians or Russians dying, or Americans.
Well, it's so much more complicated, to Mr. Duggar's point, of this being like a bigger scam here. This isn't just about
a bigger scam.
Yeah, and we say, well, we just want to bankrupt Russia process. The opposite has happened. They're stronger now. They're making deals with Russia. You had the Brazil president come out and say, well, we're going to fucking team up with China because y'all's dollar sucks. And not only are they making Russia richer, but they're making Europe poorer in the same. And those people are going to turn to who? They're going to turn to Russia and China. Like, we're getting phased out here. It seems like on purpose.
Which was my point.
That's why I said to your point.
Okay.
Well, I can't buy into the big picture of it, like Doug was saying. I can't buy into that because that, number one, that's giving them too much credit. They'd have to have they have to think this through. It'd take them 50 years to think it through, and then they still get it wrong. So I don't think they could plan that far ahead. But they are doing it in baby steps. They are doing it in baby steps and leading that direction. I don't think they've got anything planned.
When Trump took the office for 4 years, they wasn't expecting him to win. Okay, well, he won. That set them back. Well, now they accelerated it. The same thing. They're after the United States. They hate our Constitution. We're that shining light in the world. If we go down, everybody else goes down. Okay, they're after us. They're not after Russia. They're not after Ukraine. They're just trying to cover up the shit they were doing in Ukraine. There's something to the $84 billion pedophile business going on. Okay, so I mean, it's a lot sinister, a lot more. It's hard to believe. It's hard to wrap your head around to what's really going on. You know, and it is like a fucking movie.
And before Russia invaded Ukraine, worldwide, Ukraine was rated amongst many countries and just as a whole as one of the top 5 most corrupt countries in the world.
Yeah,
money laundering.
Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a few years ago. They were rated like the most corrupt country in the world, and they were like Time was doing reports on them and documentaries about the Nazi problems and how they were. Now all of a sudden they're the shining beacon of hope in the world. That everybody should be like.
We're sending $180 billion to
with no receipts attached.
Yeah. We're going to pay back Thursday for all that $180 billion. We take a promissory note. We didn't even get a promissory note.
Exactly. There's no tracking of. No one knows where this shit's going. It's just like, oh, hey, we're out of money. We need more. Okay, no problem. Like, the fuck.
Yeah, and half those things Zelensky does are like he's using green screens to do them.
Man, fuck that guy.
Yeah, well, that's like a whole different topic. That's
It's
how
all
we're just
production. It's a production. It's all a production.
I think that guy's starting to figure it out too. I've seen him in a couple of. He's like his eyes are dodgy. He's looking around. He's not like. I think he knows. Like, man,
His numbers coming up.
I set myself up for some shit here.
Yeah.
Well, he's already collecting enough money. He's just going to disappear.
He was a
eventually.
dancer. You hear me? He was a dancer. He's a puppet. That's all he is. He's nothing. He's whatever they tell him to do. Hey, you wear that blue shirt today, and don't say nothing.
Yeah,
You know what I
100%.
mean?
In a couple years, he'll be living on a beach in South America.
Shit.
Yeah, pretty much exactly. He's gotta just disappear and fucking go live it up because he's like, ha ha ha, thanks for all the money.
Yeah, he'll be down there getting massages from Cabana Boys in South America.
Okay. Well, Travel Fools is fantasy.
Have you ever seen? You ever seen his dance videos?
He said, "Don't tease me with a good time."
I don't want to Google. No, I'm not Googling those.
Oh, you'd probably like them.
No,
Oh yeah, you'd be all into that.
But as we were talking about as we were talking about diversions from Trump, it was funny because earlier there was the whole literally while Trump is dealing with this stuff, the Senate was having a committee talk with the co-head or associate director of the FBI, and they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way, yeah, those Biden documents you were asking from us, oh, they do exist. They're not classified. Oh, yeah, we didn't want to give them to you." Like, what the fuck? About the $5 million, like just one of the deals they found allegedly. I'm like,
it's actually 10 mil.
We're talking about the narrative, how it gets buried. So Trump gets indicted the same day they're doing this stuff, but the news buries it because they're like, oh, Trump's getting indicted. Shit like that. It's like it's all about narrative and just covering up the actual potential corruption and news stories.
Well, I love all the like the liberal shrills on the people who all repeat the same talking points on like Twitter and stuff, and they're on there going like it's like on the one side they're like, well, now this is all from some Ukrainian source, and nobody can trust some random Ukrainian source, okay? And then at the other time they're going, well, Trump may have given our nuclear codes to North Korea, so he should go down, And when they're talking about the Biden thing, they're like, well, we can't trust it till we actually see the facts. I mean, there's no reason to speculate. And then they're like, their next tweets, like, yeah, but it's very possible that he sold our nuclear codes to blah, 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 and he should go to prison for 400 years. And it's like,
it's a full double standard bullshit nonsense. And that's why when people say like deep state, they're talking about these career politicians that just like they secretly like I think get along, but in the public eye they dispute, but then they compromise and get along and they cover up and they I think that's kind of what I don't know what the deep state really means to a lot of people. It can mean a lot of different things to a bunch of people. That's something we could talk about one day too, is what is the deep state? That'd be a fascinating topic, to be honest.
Here's something an oddity, a little tidbit from Mr. Duggar. And if it's not the epitome of irony, I don't know what is. Trumped up charges.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's trumped up charges. It was trumped up charges on Trump. I mean, how do you even? It's hilarious to me. The Trump card. We're waiting on his Trump card to get him out of this shit.
Well, and that's why he said he's like, this is literally a law from 1917, and they're charging with espionage potentially. And it's like, what the fuck? And,
Well,
you know, it's like,
all this man needed to do was not run for president, and none of this would be happening.
exactly.
If he had
Exactly.
not,
If he had not if he had not run back for office, none of this would have ever happened. That's how afraid of him they are.
the only reason this is happening is to tie him up in a bunch of bullshit throughout the election cycle.
Right.
Which to be honest, I can't wait to see if there's new poll numbers tomorrow or today or the next day that show he's jumped even higher in popularity because of this shit. Because after the first indictment, he shot up like 15, 20 more points. So if it shoots even further, it's going to be like, you people are literally shooting yourselves in the foot and not even realizing what you're doing, because as they've said, they have now opened the Pandora's box of, well, guess what? Now we're going to come after you, but it's going to take people with spines to actually fucking do it. But now they've opened the box.
They gave him a birthday present. Is what they did.
Yeah, and he already Trump has pledged, I'm coming after all of you if I get reelected because of this shit. I'm coming
which I think was a poor statement to make. And you know, I love Donald Trump, but I'll never say that he's perfect. And I think that was a poor I don't think he should have said that out loud.
I mean, I can agree. I can agree with that. I mean,
he had to watch the Magruder film again.
We will be looking into you. You're something a little smaller, but I actually don't mind, because at the same time, that's what people love about him, is that he's like no holds bar. I mean, like, again, he told Hillary Clinton, "You'd be in jail," and then he decided, though, okay, I'm not going to do it. You know, but yeah, people love that though about him, is that he's just this, I don't give a fuck, and that's what people love. So at the same time, it's kind of 50-50, you know.
Well, I'll go back to this every time, because that's what I believe. I might be wrong, y'all might disagree, but I'll go back to Eisenhower's speech when he left office. He wanted to warn the country. He could have said anything. He wanted to warn the country about the military-industrial complex. Then we watched what happened with Kennedy when he said hell no to the Operation Northwoods and all this type of shit. We saw what happened with him. And then you look recently with Russia, they invaded, in this century, they invaded Georgia, Crimea, and Ukraine. So Bush, Obama, and Biden, Russia invaded a country. Trump is the only president this century where Russia hasn't invaded a country. It's the military and industrial. I'm telling you, that's just my opinion.
Exactly, that's the deep state.
Mark Dice has a good book on that, if you've never checked it out.
Well, and again, that's the point. Yeah, Trump is
there you go, Mark Dice. We plugged you.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, Trump is the only president who has not started a war in recent memory and has tried to withdraw successfully. He didn't get to complete that mission on his terms, you know, but that's it. And he's been very anti, like, we don't need to be dealing with this shit. We don't need to be dealing with, you know, we need to worry about ourselves. But all the politicians, no matter what they say, always go, I want to interject ourselves onto all the other countries in the world and blah, 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 you know, all their bullshit.
Right. It's just back to status quo. We got this one guy in here we can't 100% control. I think he did a lot of things that, you know, with certain companies we can't talk about. He did a lot of things that they liked, and but he was the guy that came in and they couldn't 100% control him. So he had to go. When Biden came back in president, it's right back to the status quo. We got to get back into making bombs at Raytheon, making bombs at
buying oil from Russia and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, yeah.
He was just a little blip. He was like a little glitch, and they had to fix the glitch, and they fixed it.
No, they ain't
That's
fixing
what I
it.
mean.
They
Yeah,
think they
and
fixed
then another thing that gets me too, and we talk about this, is like they take the coal out of West Virginia and Kentucky, right? And we got to make clean coal, and they ship it to China, and they bring China's coal over here to us. That how much sense does that make? That makes no friggin' sense to me whatsoever.
Well, again, we were basically going to be, as they say, energy independent. We were basically, because we filled up the reserves, and
which
then they
Biden
went
has
through them
drained.
all, and then they sold them off, and then we're going, oh, now we have to import. So if you think about that in a logical, just simple logical sense, okay, instead of making money and selling off oil, or just making ourselves and being independent, now we're having to pay money and import, which means we're also burning more fuel to import oil or coal from other
Yeah, and I don't even understand the environmentalists too. They're like, well, don't safely do it here. Put it on a boat and float it across, 6,000 miles of ocean and hope nothing goes wrong.
Does that make any fucking sense to any common sense person? Any sense at
How
all?
dare you, Ben? How dare you? Bless you.
Pardon.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Mr. Duggar.
I said pardon.
He did mention those ribs earlier.
It was a rib eye.
Oh.
It was with caramelized onions and mushrooms and mashed potatoes.
Well, we had a nice little saltgrass earlier. LW knows about that shit.
Oh yeah, their potato soup. Oh my, it's good stuff.
We had the mushrooms, a nice little steak wrapped in bacon with asparagus and a baked potato.
Nice.
I almost died. It was too much.
I don't know, man. They just let too many alphabet companies or all the alphabet agencies have went rogue.
It's like this comedian I saw the other day. That supposed alien landing and crash in Vegas. He was like, just imagine an alien came just today and spent a week in America, just landed in America. What they would report back to their ship be like, hey, well, America, they're 99% of the population is trans. The economy's great and everything's fantastic. like if the alien just watched mainstream news and mainstream stuff, they would say, oh yeah, it's 99% transgenders, everything's cool. I mean, and when you watch, that's what it seems like,
Yeah, they'd be like, "Don't worry, they won't be reproducing anytime soon." So
yeah, they're
we'll
a
be
dying
able to come in.
species. It's like Elon said, we're a dying species. Fucking squirrels.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people just need to realize that. I mean, everything that the news is telling you is, whether you're watching Fox News or CNN, either way, they're lying to you.
If the guy's lips are moving, he's lying.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Tucker Carlson works out with his new Twitter segments. I think those will be pretty good. But
yeah.
Well, he's not under restriction anymore, and no one can tell him what the fuck he has to say or do, and he can do whatever the fuck he wants and talk about anything. So he's already talked about goddamn aliens and conspiracy, and he's gonna be successful no matter what he does. I mean, that's just fact.
But it is kind of like his trademark. His monologue always was his trademark. So maybe I think that might fit him just to come in, say what's on his mind, and then we'll see him on the next episode.
Yeah,
well, see, I think he is still under like contract with Fox, but his thing. This is what I understand it to be. His thing is that his personal Twitter account is his personal Twitter account. So he has freedom of speech to
that-
say
that-
whatever he wants to say. So they can't silence him. He's not actually working for anybody. He's not actually doing anything on his own. He's not on another news channel. He's just making his own Twitter account and saying what he wants to on there.
Yeah,
So,
that's the point. That's the point. All he's doing is monologues, so to say, like Mr. Duggar just said. He's just doing like 10-minute monologues, like his shows did, but it's on his personal account. But maybe Fox is trying to go, well, it's a Tucker on Twitter, and they're trying to say that's a show. It's like, but it's my personal Twitter account. So there's a Fox is just being, butthurt because they're still paying them technically. As far as
they're panicking because they were trying to shut him up when they fired him, and he ain't working. He's still talking.
He's fucking killing it in views compared to even what he was doing on Fox. He's killing it because he's getting more promotions.
Oh yeah.
The non-compete. I mean, the only thing they might be able to get him on is like if Twitter's paying him. But even though that non-compete doesn't go to, like, he could just start his own website and do videos. Like, that doesn't count to that non-compete. So it doesn't matter even if they get him kicked off or he can't do that. He can just start his own fucking website and be like, come watch my videos here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have a good
I
following.
think that's another guy's whose safety I worry about. Like Seth Rich and shit. I mean, Hillary's still pretty good at Arkansiding people. You know what I mean? I wish him and his family safety.
What are you talking about, Mr. Duggar? You're telling me you don't know 47 people that committed suicide?
Well, as a matter of fact, I know 53, but that was a long time ago, a different lifetime. But I mean,
I don't know where we have gone with this, but well, let's put it this way. I think we all agree right now. Trump indictment again. Well, another indictment. Let's put it that way. For another, I love how it's both like 30-something charges. It's fucking amazing how this all syncs up too. If you look at the numbers, absolute bullshit.
I love the fact that this is the liberals where they're all sitting there like, we got him this time. But this is the one, and it's like, Jesus Christ,
fuck. The fucking idiot that ran across in the fucking jail suit and got fucking like taken out by the Secret Service guys. They're fucking maniacs.
Yeah, this is going nowhere. I mean, really, in the end, they're gonna the news. It's gonna be the constant news cycle for the next, basically the next year. This is gonna be the constant news cycle. And I mean, I guarantee did they set a trial date today? I haven't seen that.
I don't think so. I didn't hear much of detail about it. I don't think so.
Don't even know what judges is. There's between two judges.
It's actually a Trump judge that's going to hear it. No,
Mr. Duggar, I have to apparently correct you. I don't know if this is actually true. We have to wait and see. I think too.
I already know. I watched the skinny on it. I got the skinny on that.
I know, but the original judge was apparently not removed, but she removed herself a little bit. She's going to oversee it, but it's a magistrate judge. So we don't really know who the magistrate judge or committee is. But the original
judge
herself, quote unquote. Apparently,
okay, I hadn't heard she recused herself.
Well, I didn't say recused herself, but she removed in the sense of she's just going to oversee it. So she's not making a verdict at this point or something like that. I think there's so much into this. We don't know anything to a degree. And that's why everyone who's making a huge deal about like, he's going to jail, like, go fuck yourselves. You don't know anything about law. Go fuck yourself. He walked out. As far as I'm aware, he walked out of that goddamn fucking courthouse, got in his limo, his SUVs and his, whole thing. He went to a cafe, got celebrated, had a happy birthday sung to him, got on his plane, flew off, and then did a speech later. So everyone needs to calm the fuck down at this point, you know?
They're so mad that he didn't get handcuffed, he didn't get mugshot, he didn't have a bail, he didn't have flight restrictions, he didn't get anything. I mean, there's nothing on this, and they're all so mad that they wanted to see him in handcuffs so bad, and a mugshot and all this stuff. And it's like none of that's gonna happen. You people are fucking retarded.
That's what the news people, the news media is pissed off about no mugshot. I can guarantee you they're rolling over in their bed tonight thinking about, damn, I wanted that mugshot. I just wanted something to post on.
You can go to Twitter and look at all the people whining. They're having a meltdown that he didn't get handcuffed or mugshot, no bail, no flight restrictions. They're like, hey, you know, it's like that. No, that girl.
That's why that CNN clip earlier where they're like, stop showing this, because that was afterwards when he went to that restaurant. Everyone's singing happy birthday and like celebrating, high fiving him, like, yeah. And
he went to a Cuban cafe and went in there and everybody was like, woo.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, I don't know this anymore. And I'm like, exactly. That's the point. Is you people are out of your fucking minds. Like, just you're ridiculous. You know.
CNN guy. It's gonna be in court, not in a restaurant.
Two people are absolutely livid today. Is Stephen King and Rob Reiner.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Poor Stephen King. Rob Reiner was, well, I guess I'm not surprised.
And Keith Overman probably jumped off his balcony.
Man, that guy's a fucking lunatic.
Hopefully. All right. Well, before I get accused of promoting self-harm here, this has been an amazing show, and I think we're at a good point here. We're at a good point here. I mean, there's more details that are going to come out. We don't know everything yet, but this is what we know is the alleged allegations and charges, etc., and time frame even. But point is, no shit, the goddamn courthouse. So I mean, that at the end of the day, that's the point right now. He walked out of the fucking courthouse, and flew away. I mean,
yeah. So once again, we should quit while we're behind.
That's right.
That's where I'm getting to. So why the fuck are you interrupting me?
Yeah. So
once again. Well, no, I'm muting all of you. I'm solo screening myself because I'm the most important motherfucker in here. Once again, though, we do appreciate. I always thank my guests. The Gipper. I don't even think he knows where he is right now. To be honest, he's like Joe Biden. He doesn't even know what day it is. LW, of course, fantastic to see you. No comment from LW. Love that. That's
I was just gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. Kamala 2024, baby. Roll Tide.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Pissed off patriot, Mr. Duggar.
And I am one pissed off patriot. I damn them for what they done to President Trump. I condemn them, and I hope they all piss the bed. And that's hard for me to say because I love everybody. Mr. Duggar does love everybody, I try to not like people and try to condemn them for their evil ways. But, I'm not perfect. My name's not Jesus. It's Mr. Duggar. So, love you guys. Thanks. It was fun coming out and being able to spew a little dissatisfaction in our government and in the way they're treating an ex-president of the United States, making us the laughing stock of the world. And I think retribution is coming.
That was the most drawn out, simple goodbye I've ever heard. Thank you, Mr. Duggar, though.
You're welcome.
TF. Onto you.
What Mr. Duggar said, and Trump 2020 or 2024, baby.
Jesus Christ. How many beers are you on?
Actually, one. So.
Oh, wow. I'm shocked, impressed, and stunned
Yeah.
all at the same time.
There you go, man. And there you go. Yeah, Trump 2024. That's what I'm going to say. I'm sticking with my guns on that one.
Whoop, whoop.
There you go. I think it is. Defoe.
Appreciate you having me on. We're sick and tired of what's going on with our country. Everybody needs to wisen up, stand up, fight for what you believe in, and trump that bitch.
Well, again, yes. Like everyone here, I appreciate everyone coming in as usual. This is a little impromptu. We're kind of like, yeah, we got to talk about this stuff. And that's always great. So appreciate everyone who sees this video and views in. Make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, notification bell especially. We will be coming back to you every Friday as planned, as much as we can, obviously, and some impromptu shows. So that notification bell is especially important. And as of this moment, we are going to get the fuck out of here. So appreciate your time. And go America.